We have another cautionary tale, this one about social media influencers and their businesses. One fitness coach and influencer, Brittany Dawn Fitness.
Welcome back to my channel. I just usually don't really eat. She has 5 or 6 different videos of this stolen audio.
Did you know that Brittany Dawn is actually a demon? If you look close enough, you can see the signs.
A lot of questions going on about where Niko is.
He was clearly very malnourished. I was extremely shocked to find out he had a microchip. The legal owner's name was Brittany Dawn Davis.
After Brittany Dawn Nelson settled with the state of Texas for $400,000 for scamming thousands of paying customers on a faulty and potentially damaging nutrition plan, I truly thought the story of Brittany Dawn was over. And then the news came out that she allegedly abandoned her dog. This is Niko, a pit bull who popped up in content created by once popular fitness influencer Brittany Dawn's content regularly back in 2017 and 2018. Niko, who actually has his own Instagram, which today still has around 5,224 followers. In the bio reads the words, "Hello world, my name is Niko, a pit bull who loves hard, big brother to a mini doxy. My mama is B Dawn Fit." However, if you go to this Instagram today, you'll notice the final post was on December 31st, 2018. And if you try to go to that Instagram linked in the bio, gone. So if you go to my main channel, Swoop, and watch my deep dive documentary into Brittany Dawn, linked below, maybe you'll find the answers there, right? Well, the truth is, you won't. Because at the time, we didn't have any answers. So here's what I said at that time. Niko actually disappeared from Brittany's post in 2018 before she made an explanation video saying that he was left with trainers who gave him a better home. So even though Brittany has a very, very questionable history of animal ownership and alleged animal that I discussed in that doc, that's where things were left with Niko until March 11th, 2024, just a couple of weeks ago. Now, just a heads up, this video will not contain anything graphic visually or in discussion, but there will be mentions of cruel treatment to animals, racism. I want to keep this as palatable as possible for everyone watching. That's why there won't be any imagery or anything like that. I would just want to be able to give you the facts and talk about the story. So this is Niko today. Now, I'm not going to show you the photo of his body, but just know that he was rail thin and malnourished. Niko was found by a Redditor named Faithlessness Deer 334, real name Michaela, who posted that she had recently come across a starving gray and white pit bull.
Hello everyone, so yesterday I was involved in a pretty crazy rescue mission, and it has seemed to have just gotten crazier and crazier. So I received a call about this gray and white bully breed mix that had been dropped off at a construction site. He was clearly very malnourished. He was probably close to starving, and with the amount of coyotes that we have in our area, he probably would not have made it through the night.
After rescuing him, they discovered that he actually still had a microchip. And after a little digging, she discovered that the microchip had his owner registered as none other than Brittany Dawn Davis, aka Brittany Dawn Nelson.
So the first thing that we did was reach out to the dog's section. They were able to tell me that they did have contact information for the owner. They were also able to tell me 2 things. The dog was chipped out of Whitesboro, Texas, and the dog was chipped at Stuckey Animal. And the legal owner's name was Brittany Dawn Davis. I was also able to talk to Dr. Stuckey, who did confirm that this is the legal owner of the dog, whose name is Niko.
What in the actual hell is going on here? Did Brittany Dawn abandon her dog? What's this about? A settlement? And most importantly, is a Brittany Dawn still a grifting? But first, oh hi, hello, it's Swoop, and welcome to the cesspool, the place where everything and everyone is sus, maybe even us. Come on in, the water's fine. I don't know why that tickles me so much. So welcome back, Suspirians. I hope you are ready for a wild ride. Now, if you're new here, welcome. This is actually my second channel on my main channel, Swoop. So I highly recommend that you check that out. It will be linked in the description and pinned in the comment. It is available to watch now. As always, if you want to join our Suspool community, all are welcome. And you can also grab your exclusive valid ribcage and valid social club apparel from the Petty University shop, linked below as always. always. And yes, friends, there are special new things coming. It's just a lot of work. A lot is in the process, but don't worry. Yes, new things are coming to the shop, hopefully soon. All right, we're gonna dip into this story, but first, how's your relationship doing? Y'all good? Y'all wanna make it better? Well, I know just the thing to help. So a huge thank you to today's sponsor, the Paired app. Y'all, I've said it before, I will say it again. I absolutely love the Paired app. Like, I think this is such a genius app to have on your phone. Paired is a relationship care app that you can use to deepen your connection and relationship with your partner with super fun daily couples questions, relationship games, quizzes, and so much more. The Paired app gives prompts that create meaningful conversation about things that you likely wouldn't have thought to discuss. And you learn so much, not just about each other, but about yourself as well. I was really surprised at how much I learned about myself. Now, one thing that I really love is that you can't see each other's answers until you both complete the quizzes or games. And once you do, it really opens up fun and interesting conversations with your partner. Think of the Paired app as like your ultimate relationship companion. The interactive games are so much fun. They really help improve communication and intimacy. And there's this super cute timeline tracker where you can track dates and memories through your relationship and never forget the moments that are special to you. And also, so you can track the stuff so that you don't get in trouble because like you won't forget an anniversary again. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying it's right there. Just check the app. It's gonna be tracked for you. And it works with every kind of relationship, whether you just met or you've been together for years. We love ourselves some healthy communication motivation, honey. And with springtime upon us and everyone looking for that blissful love, why not give your relationship the gift of a subscription to Paired for yourself and your partner? I'm telling you, I have been using the Paired app for months now and I absolutely love it. So treat yourself to a healthier, happier, more engaging relationship. Click my link below to get a 7-day free trial and 25% off Paired Premium so you can deepen your connection with your partner because you deserve it, honey. So, in case y'all need a reminder on who Brittany Dawn Bedong, B-Dip Davis Greason Nelson Partridge in a Pear Tree is, let's recap as quickly as possible. So, Brittany Dawn is a former fitness influencer who made her bag selling personalized meal, fitness, and coaching plans to nearly 5,000 people. Each plan was allegedly custom and created by Brittany herself, which is a ridiculous thought because one person cannot write 5,000 custom plans, and Brittany was never credentialed to give this advice.
Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel.
Body goals, Fitspo everywhere you look.
Cardio should never feel like you're slaving away at something.
Melina Brunson found hope and inspiration in social media influencer Brittany Dawn Fitness.
I was looking for some sort of training, some sort of fitness program. Eventually I followed her, so I went ahead and purchased one of her programs.
Brittany Dawn has some 550,000 followers on Instagram, another 290,000 on YouTube.
I have such a heart for what I do and for being in this industry. Being a fitness influencer is my full-time job.
Many of those followers, women who have turned to Brittany Dawn to get their dream bodies, success photos, transformations showcasing the results posted online. Brunson paid $250 for a 60-day plan of workouts, a personalized nutrition plan, and access to Dawn by phone. But she says while she put in the work, Dawn did not.
We never got anything back other than just, oh girl, you're doing so great. But I'm like, how am I doing great? Because I'm not losing weight and inches aren't going anywhere.
And she is not alone.
What makes it worse was that the plans were actually more like dangerously low calorie grocery lists that also required 2 hours of exercise daily, no days off. It was just wild. Please don't do that to yourselves. Long story short, countless people began to recognize that Brittany was charging hundreds of dollars to basically push a glorified ED on them. And when they approached Brittany for a refund, she would block them or she would make them sign a NDA and then give half of the money back. This actually made international news due to the sheer scope of the grift.
There are nearly 4,000 members of a Facebook group, Brittany Dawn Fitness Complaints.
What does happen a lot with this sort of thing is this issue of scale, not knowing how to deal with your own popularity. A lot of people just don't buy it because she spent months, in some cases years, ignoring customers who had reached out to her.
Some women unhappy with her program, posting screenshots of emails from Brittany Dawn, some showing refunds. The amounts varying from $50 to full refunds if they sign an NDA.
Now, Brittany Dawn was actually sued by the state of Texas for deceptive trade practices for this. Now, listen, the state of Texas is kind of wild. It's like, you don't up when the state of Texas is suing you, okay? I'm just saying, like, you missed a few steps because Texas is coming for you, okay? And that nobody wants that. So more on that in a sec. But soon after making international news, she's an international world traveler, Brittany actually stopped being a fitness influencer and then strangely pivoted into becoming a fundamentalist Christian influencer who peddles QAnon adjacent and anti-vax rhetoric through an alleged nonprofit organization called She Lives Freed, all while living on her ranch. She also married a disgraced former cop named Jordan Nelson, whose biggest claims to fame are, number one, getting fired from the Kansas City PD for smashing a black man's face into the concrete.
You followed standard protocol.
Yep, yeah. And after the fact, he filed a lawsuit against me.
Number two, for shooting Brittany Dawn's dog, which she then tearfully discussed in a monetized video. So basically just to the cesspool with both of y'all, okay? Don't even take a towel, just go straight to the deep end. The two have basically become a sort of demented D-list influencer power couple who often talk around their many, many controversies, but rarely, if ever, take accountability for them. What a lovely family. And as a sidebar, like a quick update from part one. But I mentioned there that the Brittany Dawn snark community refers to these two as B-Dong and J-Dong. Well, this has since changed, okay? Let me do the research and be up to date. Brittany still remains B-Dong, but Jordan is now also known as J-Dip, JPEG, which is, that's my favorite. But let me add one potential to the mix. He is a J-cist. Allegedly. Now, it's not funny, but it's funny. It's petty. It's coping. That's what I do. There's obviously a lot more to the story of B-Dong and her J-cist husband. My first doc on this was like 90 minutes long, so if you want the full context, the link is below. But I bring all of this to kind of catch you up to speed before I get into the biggest updates in the B-Dong cinematic universe. First, the sentencing. In May of 2023, the state of Texas settled the lawsuit with Brittany, and in June, it was announced that she would pay $400,000 in penalties and restitution. Don't know if she's paid it. That's all I could say there. According to the WFAA out of Texas, the total payment includes $300,000 in civil penalties and $100,000 in restitution, with both paid within the next 3 years. The $131,320 in attorney fees levied against her will not become due and payable unless Davis fails to comply with the permanent injunction against her. So that means exactly what it says. Brittany, you owe a shit ton of money to the state of Texas for being a grifty McGrifterson, so it's time to pay up, B-Dong, and you probably should adhere to those things if you don't want to pay that $131,000 some dollars else. Attorney's fees are a bitch. Part of her injunction states that she is, 1, not allowed to offer or sell nutrition or fitness plans, especially if they include anything personalized relating to fitness or nutrition. She cannot claim to have any special knowledge or training related to EDs. She cannot charge a shipping fee for any goods or services over email. She has to admit wrongdoing, though the settlement does state that she did not have malicious intent. From this point on, Brittany was free to talk her shit, and, well, talk her she did by alluding to gathering names of all of the content creators and Redditors that have been pack watching her and threatening to sue them. So nothing says like you've learned a lesson and wanted to take accountability after a lawsuit from the state of Texas, like wanting to sue everyone for pointing out that you did wrong, which she doesn't appear to have followed up on. Shocking. Now, for full context, Brittany appears to have spent a few episodes of her podcast, Chiseled and Called, addressing her story and finally telling her testimonial that she has threatened to unleash on the world for quite some time. I haven't listened to a lot of the podcasts. but I have watched this 2-part series by Julie Jo that briefly recaps some of it, which I highly recommend watching so that you don't need to give Brittany a click if you don't want to. Now, one thing I do know, however, is that in the podcast, Brittany allegedly threatens to dox her own snark subreddit on the grounds that her snark Reddit exacerbated her harassment, which led to her losing sponsors and getting doxxed. Now, the Brittany Dawn Snark Reddit moderators actually responded to Brittany's claims, directly denying that what she was saying was true and explicitly calling Brittany's allegations threats. Their post is lengthy and worth reading in full, but I want to read a few of the highlights. Quote, "Our subreddit was created August 31st, 2021. She claims that 2019 was the worst year of her life, especially due to online hate, threats, and harassment of her and her family. Again, this subreddit did not exist in 2019. She claims Redditors got together to contact people and tell everyone what she has done. She lost 5 huge sponsors because of this in 2019. Our subreddit did not exist in 2019. She claims her personal info, such as her address, phone number, and a layout of her house, were posted to the Brittany Dawn Stark subreddit in 2020. This subreddit did not exist in 2020. So I think you get the point that I'm going for, right? Brittany has very clearly been trying to paint a target on her own snark Reddit, which is wild since, as I explained in part 1, many of her snarkers are people Brittany literally once ripped off. The state of Texas found it so. This isn't some baseless hate group. This is mostly, at least from my perspective, people bonding over a shared traumatic experience, as well as people that are empathetic to that trauma. They should not have gone through what they did. I mean, honestly, the physical harm and the mental emotional harm that her irresponsible program could and did cause on some people is just, it's it sucks.
Fitness, whose real name is Brittany Davis, is a Texas-based fitness influencer turned alleged scammer. Hundreds of women are accusing her of taking their money for exercise and diet plans, saying they turned out to be nothing but dead weight.
Her life was pretty inspirational. She had everything and anything.
Some plans are $200. Angie Bullock of Oregon paid $92 for the bridal package in 2015.
I wanted to do it in a slow and healthy way. I was feeling terrible the first week. I was supposed to get weekly check-ins and consultations with her, and I did not receive those consultations at all. I emailed and she never got back to me.
So she contacted Dawn on Instagram.
She deleted the comments and blocked me immediately.
But aside from that, there have only really been a few minor things that have happened since we last talked about Brittany, like her adjacent husband being allegedly exposed for lying, cheating, and abusing by a friend of his ex-wife. These claims aren't verified, but, feel free to pause to read them in full if you would like. There was also a point in time when Brittany was devoted to monetizing her foster mom journey, a journey she mysteriously and unceremoniously stopped mentioning at the start of 2024, with her taking foster mom out of her Instagram bio. What made this worse was when Brittany was actually accused of plagiarizing content from creator Infertilitalk, who alleges that Brittany took her content and turned it into their own TikTok audio. Super sus, right? Super cesspool. The worst part about this is that Infertilitalk's content wasn't just some random TikTok bit. It was literally the story of her own tragic miscarriage. I am so sorry that you had to go through that trauma. In response, Infertilitalk actually tried to resolve this peacefully and privately at first.
And I send what I think is a pretty reasonable message, being like, hey, you might not be aware, giving the benefit of the doubt. This is my sound, essentially. It should be credited. Rooting for you. No response. So I comment on the video being like, this is my content. No response. I made a video yesterday alluding to the situation, and I learned that people had a similar experience, that they'd heard of similar experiences, that this isn't an isolated incident, and that frustrated me. So I emailed the talent company in their bio, and you might be like, this girl has way too much time on her hands, what is wrong with her? And maybe I do, but I'm in between fertility treatment cycles, and I don't appreciate people using my loss and my infertility journey and calling it their own. You'll have to pause to read these.
Now, these are pretty serious allegations being made that Brittany is plagiarizing someone's miscarriage story, so I went to see for myself. Unfortunately, Infertilitalk's TikTok audio is no longer available on TikTok, but I found an ex-Fundy creator named Bethany Michael who archived the audio, so a huge shout out to her for me being able to even compare these two.
When are you having kids? Your husband would be such a good dad. My husband just looks at me and I get pregnant. You better hurry up, you're not getting any younger. It just wasn't meant to be. You should be grateful there was probably something wrong with them. At least you know you can get pregnant now, right?
Look, that's really intense stuff, and my heart goes out to Infertilitalk and the journey she's been on. But let's listen to Brittany's now.
When are you having kids? Your husband would be such a good dad.
Okay, what the Brittany Badong. The craziest part about this is that Brittany didn't just use Infertilitalk's audio. Like, look up at the top here and you can see that she uploaded this audio for herself. That is so much more work than you even have to do on TikTok unless you purposefully want to just take credit for someone else's work entirely. One Redditor, Ferocious Burrito, even points out, quote, I thought it was odd. There's a line in there about, oh, you think fertility treatments are exhausting? When I thought she had said several times that they weren't considering that route and leaving it in God's hands. Now it makes sense, which means that she maybe, likely, possibly, totally stole someone's story and then in the process lied about her own again. What the f going on, Brittany? There are actually countless examples of Brittany blatantly plagiarizing other content creators' work, like this one. Or this one. Now, Brittany Dawn has even been allegedly caught liking a tweet and then taking that tweet almost word for word and using it as her own. That would be like me, I don't know, like what can I do? Walking out of a Purple Rain after it was, re-released in theaters after Prince floated away to the purple clouds and logging it on Letterboxd and immediately promoting my new film, Ruppel Pain, starring Rinse Pay. I mean, I swear it's my idea, Your Honor. It's only a coincidence that it's literally the same and there's verifiable proof. I just watched it. There are a lot of other little things that have popped up here and there, like big and small, that mostly boil down to Brittany being cringe at the best and continuing her dangerous patterns of behavior that we outlined in part 1 at worst. But in the grand scheme of things, most of these, while yes, bad, are small potatoes compared to one of the biggest firestorms Brittany's had to face since the settlement was arranged. And that firestorm would be the allegation that she abandoned her sweet little dog. On March 11th, 2024, the Brittany Dawn Stark subreddit had a new post up that stated, "We found Niko the pit bull, Brittany's former dog, starving." It was made by a Redditor, Faithlessness Deer 334, real name Michaela again, who details her experience as an animal advocate and rescuer in Texas.
After doing a little bit of research, we did find out that Brittany tried to rehome him responsibly for a whole 5 days. So we reached out to the rescue that she tried responsibly rehoming him through, and you can pause to read, but here's what they had to say.
So I want to stop here to point out that when Michaela reached out to this organization, they stated that while they were trying to help Brittany rehome Niko, Brittany was secretly posting Niko on Craigslist, and that from what they heard, Brittany found somebody random on Craigslist to take Niko, and when they asked her about this, she stopped responding. Michaela was actually able to confirm this and also confirmed why this is a problem.
We also did end up confirming that she did give Niko away on Craigslist. If you aren't aware, Craigslist is probably one of the worst places you can rehome a dog on.
So to elaborate for a bit on what Michaela is saying, virtually anybody you speak to will tell you not to rehome pets on Craigslist. There are countless reasons why, though we could probably just look at this horrifying article that details a man who adopted multiple kittens from Craigslist, only to do things to them that I will not say because it fills me with the fiery rage of 1,000 suns and I will lose my hit. If you hurt a little baby kitty, I will come for you. In theory, allegedly, of course. I mean, that's reason enough for me to throw Craig and his bitch list down the cesspool. Now, to expand on this though, petsforpatriots.org states, as tempting as it may seem, rehoming a pet through Craigslist may place your pet in significant peril. Many animals advertised on Craigslist have wound up victims of abuse and neglect, rehomed to backyard breeders, hoarders, dog fighting rings, or other criminal elements. At the end of the day, listen to Michaela on this and don't buy or sell animals on Craigslist. What makes the situation even worse, however, is that Brittany has responded both publicly and privately to this, and is now apparently lying about how she rehomed Niko at all. In a response on her Instagram, Brittany skirted accountability by stating, quote, "I didn't abandon him. I made a video about this 5 years ago, but of course the internet is always going to manipulate and distort the truth. Always." It's probably worth mentioning that during the entirety of this situation, Brittany has been on vacation, and this has been her only public acknowledgement of a situation that she created. You know, this situation where she unethically rehomed her dog, dumping him with what Michaela describes as a sketchy couple, and then moving on, all because she didn't vibe with Niko. Listen.
A lot of questions going on about where Niko is. Niko is in training right now. He is with Bevel Dog Behavior. He is going, I don't know how much longer he's going to be. He's been there for quite some time though. I miss him so much. It's been very difficult to not have him. So he is in training. He's in great hands when he comes back. Yeah, there's a whole story there, you guys. Whole story about me and him and some things that happened and whatnot. Nothing bad. So don't assume that. But just like, so we weren't clicking for some reason. Like, he is extremely hyper. I have anxiety, and we just like, our personalities were completely clashing. And so Bevel Dog Behavior is working with him. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited to see his little transformation, and I'm probably going to film it as well.
For a lot of you know this. So a couple of years ago, actually 3 years ago, like actually nearly to the day, I was walking in the neighborhood, and there was this abandoned lot, and this pregnant cat came out, and she literally laid her pregnant little belly on my feet, like actually on my feet. She belonged to no one. She was living at this abandoned place with her little cat siblings. And so I took her in, gave her a safe place to birth the kittens in my home, and I wanted to get them all adopted. I had recently lost my sweet baby kitty. I didn't think that I was ready to adopt a new one yet. And so when the sweet little babies were born, they were born on tax day, April 15th. They're called the billing department. Many followed the journey along. I tried everything in my power to find homes for them. And I did this by partnering up with a very reputable adoption agency in the area where I live. And so they had this whole like application process and vetting process. And then there's video interviews. And then you like have to see the video of the person's home, and all kinds of questions to make sure that they understand the responsibility and the long-term life commitment to adopting the baby. And we got several of them adopted. And guess what? Several of them didn't get adopted. They're solid black. People are still kind of weird about black cats for some reason, even though they're super sweet. And so guess what I didn't do? I didn't get frustrated with the fact that I still had 4 cats. I didn't go to Craigslist. Instead, I adopted them. Now, a couple of them are going to live with my mom. They grew up with around my mom since birth as well. So they're going to have good homes. I did not just dump them on the street or find some random person on Craigslist. Basically, if you take an animal, if you bring a pregnant one in, or if you adopt an animal, it is a long-term commitment for the life of that animal, right? And so if you can't do it, then don't do it. It's that simple. Now, I do understand sometimes people and an animal can present challenges that they are not equipped, they don't know how to handle, but there are reputable ways to get them placed in a better, safer home for them. And that's reaching out to these adoption agencies who work tirelessly to make sure animals have good homes. So I just there's just kind of no excuse to me for what Brittany has done. Now, back to it. In case you need a reminder, this is a legitimate pattern for Brittany, as we outlined in part 1. Turmeric Challenge mod on Reddit has made an updated graphic of the dogs that Brittany has rehomed. There's been more, as well as the one that J-Sist murdered. So you can get a visual scope of the issue here. And this doesn't even include the issues that she's had with her horses. Yeah, horses. Some of these claims are alleged and vouched for by legitimate professionals involved with the care of her horses. The truth is, I highly doubt Brittany Dawn gives one single flying fuck shit about this, and her reputation has been in complete shambles for so long that all criticism is just kind of met with a mask-off sense of, I just don't care. However, even if Brittany has been forced to be held accountable for her long-running fitness grift, her years of animal mistreatment is only beginning to flood to the surface. And considering the fact that she still has 1.5 million followers on TikTok, it's worth spreading awareness as much as humanly possible that she's still around, she's still doing this to animals, and with the lawsuit behind her, it may only get worse. As Michaela said in a recent Facebook post, quote, Brittany has a long history of animal harm and irresponsibility rehoming animals. Niko is just another one of her victims. No, you did not abandon him. You decided to rehome him because he was too high energy in the peak of your fitness career. You sold him to the sketchiest couple you could find on Craigslist so that he could be harmed and neglected for 4 years. You bailed on a rescue trying to responsibly rehome Niko after 5 days because you just wanted the poor dog gone. And then you lied and claimed he was rehomed through a rescue and a trainer. You set Niko up for failure. Again, I come back to even my experience with the pregnant baby kitty in the billing department. There's just no excuse. There's no excuse for doing this to an animal, ever. Brittany, if you're watching this, I genuinely want to ask you, why? Why do all of this? Why continue to do all of this? Do you care? As for Niko, there is a huge silver lining here with the newest update from Michaela on March 13th, 2024 on her Facebook. So I'll end this post off by reading most of her update. Quote, Niko went to the vet this morning for a full checkup. He's had blood work done, HW test, and fecal. We get the results Friday. They did a final needle aspiration for the lump on his wrist, but they could not confirm what it was. He weighs 68 pounds based on his photos from Sunday. They said he is already looking much better. Niko is being fostered through Cody's Friends Rescue Adoption. Applications can be found at www.codysfriendsrescue.org/adopt-a-dog. He will be under a new arrival. I want to thank everyone for supporting Niko. His Amazon wish list was bought out 3 times. His GoFundMe surpassed our goal, and we raised over $4,000 for his care. Whatever is not used for his medical care will be split between Cody's friends and the Love Pit, who tried helping rehome Niko in 2019. So I am just so, I actually have goosebumps. I am so just warmed to the core. Thank you to Michaela and to everyone involved in taking care of Niko. And the link to Niko's GoFundMe and his rescue will be down below if you want to help or just help any animal. There's so many animals, so many sweet, pure, innocent little creatures that just want good, loving homes. And so if you want to think about adoption, please think about it if you are ready and able, or you can also support the adoption centers in your local hometown. So I'm glad that for once, one of these stories of Brittany Dawn actually has a happy ending, even if it's not because of Brittany at all. Okay, Susperians, time to step out of the cesspool. Go ahead and grab a towel and dry off. That's what I got. I have a brand new full deep dive Swoop documentary and a full Dan Schneider interview analysis. It is linked below and in the pinned comment. It's on my main channel.
The executive producer of the main show, Dan Schneider.
Hi. It was very difficult, me facing my past behaviors. Embarrassing and that I regret.
Did you say nice things about me? because I will tase her.
Oh. That's going to get on TV.
I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology.
I looked at all of them, and I just said, how dare you?
Hey, also the network called and we're picked up for another season of
I also have a doc on Amanda Bynes over there as well, which is also linked below. Be sure to grab your very own pieces from the Valid Ribcage and a Valid Social Club collection in the Petty University shop. It is linked below as always. I just know that you're gonna love these pieces so much, and I literally live like my everyday life all the time in these. Thank you for coming for a swim. Make sure to subscribe to this new channel. Also follow me on Instagram and TikTok, linked below. That's where I post most often, and also announce opportunities to have your thoughts featured in my documentaries. Also, a huge thank you to our sponsor for supporting this channel, and of course, always to all of you for watching. Be sure to click my link below to get a 7-day free trial and 25% off paired premium so you can maintain and deepen your connection with your partner and treat yourself to the healthy relationship you deserve, honey. Have a good day out there, stay weird, and I will see you next time in the cesspool. Swoop!